Hey there, this is Quinn Warlock, and this is another PvP commentary, and this one is of Battle for Gilneas. And I'm always going to try and choose the battlegrounds, either Warsong Gulch, Battle for Gilneas, Twin Peaks, Eye of the Storm, or Arathi Basin. I won't choose any of the other ones because specifically the contribution you can make to the other ones is pretty minimal as an Affliction Warlock. And so there's really no point. No one would really get anything out of seeing me contribute to the damage dealing in Alterac Valley or something like that. I could put up a video of defending the towers in Alterac Valley because you get a lot of action there. But sometimes it's just too much because you could easily have 6 or 7 people attacking you there when it's only you. And in these battlegrounds, things tend to be pretty even. The most you'll really have is 3 or 4 people attacking you at one time, unless you like run right into the main horde graveyard where everyone would be. I don't know, that never really happens, but yeah. So things are pretty much more even in these battlegrounds. So I'm always going to try and choose these. I haven't put out a video in a while because I've been working on gearing up an enhancement Shaman, and I'm having a lot of fun with my enhancement Shaman, and I'm going to be putting up some videos within a couple weeks. I've almost got all the PvP gear. I just need all the cheap 1250 honor ones. Alright, so at this point in the game, it seems like I'm pretty much dead. I've got 3 or 4 people attacking me, 2 rogues, a hunter, a mage, but I get the teleport off, and I use both escape artist and trinket. And if I had been any other class other than a gnome, well, maybe a night elf with shadow meld, but a gnome is incredible there, and people have actually commented, why would I want to be a gnome? Well, I really like escape artist, especially against frost mages and rogues, because it can get rid of the poison, it can get rid of the leg entrapment or whatever that is when you use escape artist, and then basically gives you 2 ways to get out of a slow, and sometimes you really need to get out of a slow. Like just then, if I hadn't got out of both of those slows, I would have died. But because I did, I made it out, and I lived to fight another day. But I lived with no health, no mana, no pet. So basically it's going to take me a minute to get all that back. So I'm actually just going to skip a bit of footage. I try to keep all my games intact. Actually, I have kept every single one of my commentaries intact, so that I show the bad moments as well as good moments, because there's a lot of bad moments as an Affliction Warlock, but no one really would want to see me use Soul Harvest, eat, Life Tap, get a pet, get a Healthstone, and really, I don't know, it'd just be me talking, and people want to see Warlock action as well. I like to think of me talking as just a bonus. But yeah, so I arrive at the mines, and I know that there's a Moonkin and a Hunter. So I am dotting up the Hunter, and I see the Moonkin come around the corner. So I run away from the Hunter a bit so that he can't hit me, and I soul swap to the Boomkin. And now the Hunter's almost dead, and so I really can just stand there and finish him off. And then while that's happening, DK takes the Moonkin. Alright, so we took the mines now, and I'm trying to think about where I should go at this point. I'm just going to talk about Warlock gameplay in 4.06 for a minute. I don't know, maybe other people will disagree with me, but I think it's at a bad place. I don't know. I know that you can say that if you look in the top 3v3 teams, every single lock you find is an Affliction Warlock, and there are a fair amount of them, and I know why, and it's because of the pressure Warlocks can put on healers and how they can dot everything. But just in terms of survivability, we're just not at the point where we're viable, really, in my opinion. Like, you can't be successful in 2v2 or 3v3s as a Warlock if you do not have a healer on your team. And I know it's true for a lot of compositions, but if you look at just the pure damage dealing bracket, which is basically 2s, then really you can't even get points there at all. And I don't know, I don't know enough people yet on my server to really have a good 3v3 team. I'm hoping to actually make a Resto Shaman once I've got all my enhancement gear, because I know a couple of good players who I could support as a healer, but at the moment we have no real healer that could support us in threes. So I'm basically stuck doing twos on my warlock at the moment, which aren't too fun because, as I was just saying, our survivability isn't really great in my opinion, and I just get nuked down way too quickly, and it really helps with maps like, oh, I forget what it's called, but everybody knows the one with the bridge. I think it's Nagrand, and yeah, that one's probably the best one in terms of survivability for warlocks because of demonic circle on the bridge. All right, so as some of you might have just noticed there, basically I just turned away from a hunter attacking me and tried to get on the Moonkin, and I know that could have gone really badly because hunter's single target damage is crazy right now, and everything. But I just know I know how much damage my dots can do. I sort of have the feel for it, and you get that if you play enough Affliction. And he had really low health, and I just knew that I'd live alright. And I know the amount of damage that Moonkin can do in a battleground, and I want to keep them out of commission for as much as possible, which is why I started just casting on the Moonkin first. Alright. Uh, as Affliction, if you want to deal maximum damage, you want to really keep out of the fight. You don't want to be in the middle because you can fear from the outside. You can cast all your dots and switch targets easily without fear of retaliation. See, now I have a hunter on me, and he's not killing me really quickly, but it's just a really big bummer, and there's nothing really I can do about it. My fear is at 3 seconds now, and I have no real defensive cooldowns besides Howl of Terror, and a good hunter would just be able to get away from my Howl of Terror right away, and besides it only lasts 1 second at this point. So I made the mistake of not having a Demonic Circle, and that was a really big mistake, I'm not gonna lie, because now I'm basically dead. Something really cool you can do as Affliction is, and it's pretty fun, is you can actually just keep yourself alive for a fair amount of time with Drain Life. Like, I don't know if you noticed right there, but I was like one shot away from death for 20 seconds there, and I just kept draining life, spamming it, and I stayed alive for a while. And I probably could have lived for a little bit more if I hadn't tried to make a break for it. But yeah. So being dead sucks, as always. Alright, so I'm just gonna mount up, and I'm thinking I'm gonna hit Lighthouse because it looks like we can win that. It looks like there's a fair amount of people, and I'm on the outside. As long as I can stay on the outside and not get focused down, I can deal probably enough damage to live. I mean, to win, sorry. And yeah, so I'm just trying to hit all the healers, make sure they're dotted up, and keep switching targets. And I've procced my super damage bonus, which is basically my Vicious Gladiator's Trinket along with Demon Soul, which gives me, I think, 1600 more spell power, and I'm dealing 20% more dot damage. And so basically that puts my damage out of control. Yeah, so we managed to win the fight, and I death coil him just so that I can just get a fear off right away and keep him away from the people trying to cap. And some people have criticized on me sometimes using Death Coil when I don't need to, or opening with it, for example. But a lot of the time, if you're just doing a random battleground, I don't see the problem, especially because 90% of players in this, like, there really is only 10% of people in here who actually know how to play and are really a big challenge to me. Well, a lot of classes can kill me, yes, but like, I don't know, if I'm in the zone, I can just beat most people. And but what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was saying that I actually completely forgot where I was going with that. Whatever, I'll just move on. Anyway, so yeah, now I'm heading to Waterworks, and I'm just gonna cast from the outside. If you know what's going on out there, it's actually, and the fight is closer to the water, it's actually a pretty good idea to just cast from the water, because a lot of time people don't even notice you there. And I've actually there have been times where I've dealt so much damage from the water, and no one's seen me. Um, so this is what I was talking about. This is where Affliction Warlocks damage, if they're unchecked, really comes into play. As you can see, just looking on the screen, just so many dots going off right now, and I'm still keeping them up, and I have an Infernal out, dealing so much damage, and the only reason I stop hitting everybody is because that hunter starts hitting me. Oh, I remember what I was trying to say before. Okay, so for the people who've criticized me on opening with Death Coil, it's because 90% of players, they don't know what they're doing well enough, and a lot of the time, you can get a trinket off the Death Coil. And I know you wouldn't think that, but if you rewind back to when I Death Coiled that Resto Druid or Moonkin Druid, I don't know really which one it was, but if you rewind back to that, you can see him actually using his trinket after getting hit by the Death Coil. So, I don't know. Sometimes when no one's hitting me, if I use it when someone's attacking me right away, then yeah, that's bad, but if I use it when I'm just all alone and I'm trying to help the team, I don't see really the big issue in that. So yeah, so this is where Affliction Warlock's damage is just out of control. See, as you can see, no one is really trying to hit me. I can just free cast, and I'm just pouring out dots, just switching targets, dotting up the next target, and just casting Furious as needed. And just, it makes my damage go out of control. And as you see, I see that Moonkin targeting me, so I teleport and go around to the other side of the building, because you wouldn't think it, but a lot of the time that can just, they'll forget about you. And yeah, so basically win that fight, and I'm trying to do a quick kill of everything here, and yeah, so we dominated that fight, even though they had, I think, 3 healers. And so I'm doing a quick damage check, because I saw that my damage was crazy there, and I actually dealt, I think, 1,500,000 damage or so in that one fight. And you wouldn't think it, but yeah, that's how much the dots do. And it's only going to go up after 4.1. Well, actually, no, scratch that. What's happening is our Affliction's damage in general, our dot damage, is going up 5%. Actually, our shadow damage, that applies to everything we do. Our shadow damage is going up by 5%, and that's really great and all, but Soul Swap's cooldown is going up 15 seconds from 10, and that's just a killer nerf. That's just so awful, considering Soul Swap should be used every time it's off cooldown as soon as possible. You should always be soul swapping to the next target, and now we're just going to have to wait 5 more seconds before we can put a whole dot rotation on another target, and that's just, you never want that to happen. But yeah, I'm looking forward to 4.1 because of all the things the Affliction's getting, but I don't know, that's one thing I don't like. Anyways, that's everything. Thanks for watching.